What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel and welcome to 2026. And with 2026 comes a movie that I was cautious about, however, kind of optimistic in hopes. I am a big fan of the Silent Hill franchise, and unfortunately, I had the displeasure of seeing Return to Silent Hill. And now, going to warn you, this is definitely going to include spoilers, so if you want to see the movie for yourself, click off. Now, if you actually want to hear my opinion as a horror enthusiast, let's get into it. So, Return to Silent Hill unfortunately ended up being one of the most disappointing movies I have ever seen. It was quite literally what I called, I felt like it's as if like you kind of go into like Chat GPT, get the cliff notes for a game and a story. You don't play it at all, so you don't understand the significance of certain scenes or how they work, and then you just opt them out of the entire movie, right? That's kind of what it felt like happened to this movie, in a sense, where a lot of the most significant and important scenes were just kind of cut out. Not only that, it just feels like the symbolism was lacking compared to the game in a lot of departments, and of course, the story in itself actually missed the mark entirely because the story focused more so on James being this savior rather than someone that kills his wife. And we all know that is pretty much the biggest and most important twist of Silent Hill 2. The fact that his wife was sick, and in anger and frustration and grief, he decides to murder her instead, right? However, in this movie, Mary is just basically asking him, can you please free me? I want to be free. Basically saying, kill me please so I can move on. And that just does not sit well with me, right? As a fan, it kind of felt like I got a middle finger stuck up at me. And it was kind of like playing with my memory of how the game actually goes, which is pretty fresh given Silent Hill 2 Remake just recently came out and was a banger, might I add, right? And at first when I saw the reviews pop up, and typically I'm more of the, I'm not reading this, I'm gonna go try it myself and make my own opinion, right? And I feel like more people should be like that. But, well, they were right. The Rotten Tomatoes score, at least, I feel like I don't think I would have gave it a 7. I actually think I would have gave it a 2. And I'm not really saying this to be mean. I'm saying this more so frustrated because when I look at everything that the movie gave me, it gave me alcoholic James, which, okay, sure, but James was getting phone calls in Silent Hill from a therapist, in a sense, and it's just like, well, that never happened. That kind of breaks immersion. Just how much content they skipped over and how out of place they had like this big chase scene with some of the insects that are in Silent Hill. Okay, well, that never happened, right? And granted, the movie isn't always going to be the same as the game. That's just not how it works, right? You want to make it familiar, but also just kind of like a new experience. This just feels like they threw out the source material and they decided to go balls to the wall with something that was never seen before, and it just didn't work. So as I said, right, James is an alcoholic. I feel like the actor that played James didn't really look like him that much. 1, 2, just the actor, it felt like his personality was more in line with like this kind of like badass, really confident, stoic character, whereas James is more soft-spoken. You know what I'm saying? That just felt thrown out the window entirely. And then when you go to the character of Maria, or even like Mary, I think Mary was actually pretty decent, but Maria just felt shoehorned into the story, didn't survive long. The way she dies is not how it worked in the game at all. Basically, James, after a while, he's like, I don't need you anymore. Yo, Pyramid Head. He covers his ears. Yo, Pyramid Head, take her out. And just Pyramid Head just pops out of nowhere and just kills her, right? And before that, she gets slashed by a nurse. And I'm just kind of thinking like, why? Like, why was this the direction, you know? Laura looks very, very scary, very creepy, and has like a mutated baby or something with her. And that puzzles me. Eddie pops up for like 5 minutes, kicks James' ass and then dips. and he's kind of an asshole, right? Eddie, as we know, becomes kind of an asshole later on, right? But there's a lot of character development that went behind that. This is just, yo, I'm Eddie. What the fuck are you doing here? Everything's fucked up. He's just cursing a bunch and stuff. And then he's like, oh, you're like, James calls him an asshole in a specific scenario, right? He's like, what did you call me? Whoops, James' ass, runs off. You never see Eddie again. Angela, I want to say Angela, very cryptic, very vague as she was, but no real development there to make sense of how she actually was portrayed in the game as a whole. The story just felt really messy. There were some enemies in there that didn't exist in the game at all. The scene where Pyramid Head is basically brutalizing that mannequin is replaced by a weird spider-like enemy. It just falls flat. And that's kind of the premise of the whole movie. It felt flat, it felt random, and it didn't feel like it paid true homage to what is considered a masterpiece in the horror genre. And I can ramble on and on about how they changed so many things, right? What ending they went with, I could also talk about that. But at the end of the day, it's just like you're kind of seeing a reoccurring theme. It's not that it's different. It's not even that it's too different. It's that it's not Silent Hill 2. It's just something entirely different with the Silent Hill 2 branding slapped on it. And fans, especially with the weight that they've had to go through for Silent Hill material and Silent Hill content, which thankfully we've been getting more and we're on pace to get even more, you would expect something like that to be a true tribute to the source material. But I'm typically of the opinion that video games are the best storytelling medium ever, and you're not really going to do better than the game when it comes to telling the game story. That's just not possible, you know? And so if you're developing a movie based off of a game, you're obviously trying to capture a new audience in terms of people that don't play games, right? But I just feel like this wasn't even something for them. It puzzled me because I don't really know what this is for. And I'll end off by saying this because this is one of the most important things to me, right? The entire movie, I was waiting to see, I guess, what ending they choose, right? Not only was the ending something entirely different, they did try to depict the water ending, right? They did try. But the narration at the end wasn't even by Mary. It was by James. And it wasn't impactful. It felt short. And remember, this is right after I said, oh yeah, like, he's depicted as a savior that's like saving her because, to be quite frank, Mary in this story, the way she gets sick is that her father has been poisoning her ever since she was born, and she's a part of this cult pretty much, and she's had no choice, and they've been doing this her entire life. And so one day he sees them walking into this tunnel and he decides to follow them so he could like see what the hell is going on with her. And he's trying to tell her like, yo, you got to get away from these people. You know, if you're not with this, I'm out. Right. And so she gets really sick. She can't be cured. James, please free me. Please free me. Not James having to live with the regret of him actually just straight up killing his wife out of his own selfish desires, right? And so then you get the water ending, and there is no Mary's letter at the end. Like, such a powerful scene, an entire sequence in that game just gone. And you're kind of just rushed. It's like a roller coaster. You're just rushed through the entire thing. The pacing is off. The music was good, as you would expect from Silent Hill. But even the CGI felt very cheap and lacking. And I don't really know the movie's budget either. And I say this again to say, like, I'm not trying to be an asshole about it. But I think if you talk to any Silent Hill fan, and not even just fans of Silent Hill 2, any Silent Hill fan that watches this movie, they're going to leave feeling pretty let down. And that's kind of how I feel. In fact, I kind of wish I never had seen it. But I let the hope in me go and watch the movie. And fortunately, it is a movie I'd probably give a 1 out of 10. Not gonna lie. And that's pretty much my opinion on Return to Silent Hill. I don't think I've ever done a movie review on this channel ever, you know, ever. That's not really where my content goes. But if you enjoyed this, please let me know in the comment section below. If you plan to see the movie, let me know what you think in the comment section below. And if you've already seen it, what is your honest opinion? So many other things I could have brought up about this movie, but I'm gonna end it there. Please subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much for watching. Deuces. Later.